Good day, everyone. I just got the brand spanking new fragrance in from Brioni Suave. This house is one of my favorite designer houses. It is so criminally underrated. Whether it's Brioni Eau de Parfum Intense or Brioni Éclat, they're constantly changing and pushing boundaries while staying true to themselves. Again, these are designer fragrances, but they're mature and they're really built for more, experienced noses. They aren't big projectors. They all sit pretty close to the skin. Longevity is usually slightly above average, but they aren't following trends. They are building a brand that makes a statement, which leads me to Suave. I'm going to give you my first impressions of this fragrance and then touch on the other Brioni fragrances I own. I'll just give you a quick description of each as well as rate them for you. Stick around, we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Before we get started, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, do everything you need to do so you don't miss any future related fragrance content here on my channel. Let's start with Suave, the brand new 2024 fragrance. And like everything else in the line, Suave is very different. There is nothing in my collection just like this. There's nothing in my collection even kinda like this. Looking on Fragrantica, looking at the main notes, I saw leather, I saw amber, I saw cardamom. Looking at the main accords, it was leather, amber, warm, spicy. In my mind, I was like, are they riffing off of Tom Ford's ombre leather? Like those notes look like ombre leather. Are they really going there? That's not the Brioni I know, and I should have never doubted them, because this smells nothing like Tom Ford's ombre leather. The main accords listed on Fragrantica are just plain wrong. This is a smoky vetiver fragrance, and smoky vetiver is the dominant note of this fragrance from the beginning to nearly the end. Suave opens with this fresh burst of citrus. You also get a little bit of warm spice from cardamom and pink pepper. But it's not 30 seconds before these smoky notes rise up and completely overshadow the citrus. I mean, after 30 seconds, that citrus is gone. It's very smoky, it's a little bit green, and it is dominant. It is very smoky, and if this was a stronger projector, if this was a more pungent fragrance, I'd probably find it off-putting, because that smokiness is heavy-handed. But this is not a big projector. This sits pretty close to the skin, so in that way, with a modest number of sprays, it's pretty darn enjoyable. It's smoky, it's woody, with a little bit of a leather base. After 2.5 hours, the smoke finally starts to dissipate a little, and this sweet amber and sandalwood start to rise up. And at that point, when this fragrance really hits the sweet spot. This is a non-linear fragrance. It not only changes after that first 30 seconds, but after 2.5 hours, the smoke kind of leaves and this nice, warm, sweet amber sandalwood takes over, and that's what it becomes. That's when this fragrance turns special, or at least very enjoyable to me. I enjoyed the dry down of this so much. Again, there's nothing else like this in my collection, but there are little similarities to other fragrances. If you look at Fragrantica right now, the fragrance that this gets compared to the most with like 3 upvotes is Lalique's Encre Noir, which is a very affordable vetiver fragrance. And in that way, I see the similarities. But again, it's just a little bit of that characteristic from the vetiver. The two side by side, not close at all. Dolce & Gabbana, the 1 EDP, has a couple upvotes. A couple people found that similar to this. And I do see a little bit of a similarity, but come on, it's not close at all. So again, this is not a big projector. Sillage is nice, and longevity, again, is above average. I got 10 hours plus on skin. This is certainly masculine leaning, and it leans into fall and winter, and it's more of an evening fragrance than it is anything. I find this to be way more dressy than I do casual, and it's way more sophisticated than it is fun. I am just getting to know this fragrance. I think it has the ability to, grow on me even more. Right now, I give it an 8 out of 10. And again, I appreciate Brioni so much for always doing something a little bit different, for not chasing those fads. For that reason, I will always give them the benefit of the doubt. I am a fan, Brioni Suave. So now let's work backwards. That was Brioni Suave 2024. Let's look at last year's fragrance. 2023's Brioni Essentiel. I didn't care for this one too much when I first got it, but I will say it has grown on me a lot in the last year. But still, it's not one I can easily recommend because your first impression will likely be pretty similar to my first impression. It is a different fragrance. And again, I appreciate the exercise. They use tomato, they use patchouli with frankincense. The tomato note especially is odd, but with the frankincense and patchouli, it's just a different experience. It's pleasant and interesting, but not particularly enjoyable. Or at least that's how I was at first. But again, it's grown on me. It has this thin candy shell sweetness on it that is unique. Some people have compared this to Credaventus, and While I kind of get it, it doesn't smell anything like Creed Aventus. But if anything, that sweet candied shelled sweetness, it reminds me more of Electimus Imperium than it does anything. And Imperium gets compared to Creed Aventus. If you get the chance to try it, you should try it, especially if you like different types of fragrances. Just don't go blind by it. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. The year before Essential, in 2022, they released Brioni Éclat. And this is a grapefruit summer fragrance, but it's not a sweet grapefruit summer fragrance. This is more of a mature citrus summer fragrance. It's grapefruit, musk, and a little bit of pink pepper. It's pretty simplistic, but again, also a little bit different. It's a little bit mature. It's sparkly and effervescent and clean. It works great for spring and summer. It's a great office scent. And it smells so good. And again, it's not a grapefruit fragrance like any other grapefruit fragrance I own. I love grapefruit fragrances. I own a bunch of them, but this one is a little different. Oh, I haven't mentioned yet, but they all come with magnetic caps. How about that? I like Éclat a lot. I give it an 8.5, 9 out of 10. So towards the end of the year before that, 2021, they released Brioni EDP Intense. And this one is a marvel. It is a statement. It's a unique and underrated high quality niche fragrance in a designer bottle. It opens with these bright and juicy fruits and citruses, in particular a green apple note. But as it dries down, this really nice designer oud, patchouli, and vanilla start to rise up. This too is a non-linear fragrance. It changes a lot from beginning to end. And it's classy, but also playful. And to me, this was a game changer. This is one that I bought retail, and I still really have no regrets. It's one of my favorite fragrances. And in my opinion, this is still Brioni at their best. I give EDP Intense a 10 out of 10. And sadly, I might have saved the worst for last, but this too really isn't that bad either. This is Brioni's 2021 fragrance, Brioni EDP. I'll come right out and say it. Brioni EDP smells nothing like Brioni EDP Intense. Totally different fragrances. Brioni EDP is a powdery violet leaf fragrance. There's some ozonic qualities as well as fruits on top. But then it dries down to a clean, musky wood, kind of body wash base. It's very nice. It works great for the office. It's very pleasant, just not that interesting. But I think you can buy the 2 ounces from discounters for, around 45, 50 bucks. And for that price, give it a shot if you like violet leaf fragrances. It's just a really nice, masculine, versatile, everyday scent. It just so happens that everything they released after this, I find way more interesting. I give Brioni EDP a 7 out of 10. Well, that's it. A quick look at the House of Brioni and the new fragrance, Brioni Suave. Have you tried Brioni Suave yet, or are you looking forward to trying it? Let me know in the comments. I'm Marshall the Scent Addict, and if you haven't done it yet, subscribe, ring the bell, and come back and see me next time.